Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind Podcast, a podcast for estate professionals who earn more, work less, and make a huge difference in their communities. If you get value out of this free content, be sure to check out probatemastery.com, where you can get live classes, access to weekly coaching, and valuable courses. To learn more, visit probatemastery.com. Now let's jump into this week's content.
Welcome to our Probate Mastery Real Estate Agent Coaching Call. I'm Bill Gross. We do this every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and all time in between or in either side. I'm at Bill Gross Probate and Social Media. I'm a practitioner in Los Angeles, California, as well as a graduate of the Probate Mastery program and other programs on the website. And we started this a few years ago when the proprietor couldn't make it. Sounds off on my end. Right, Bill's soft. Okay, well, let's see here. Let's fix that. Testing 1, 2, 3. Anyhow, hope my sound's okay. Looks like I got a good register. Anyhow, I stepped in to help coach agents and share best practices, best information, what we're doing, what works, what doesn't work, our victories or losses, and work together for those of us working the Probate Mastery system. That system you can find at probatemastery.com. And there's some free material. There is the probate marketing mini course. There's probate prospecting. So these are the free mini courses that are available. And there's other classes, including, let's just scroll down, get all the details. In our call today is kind of the coach that can help you walk through the problems. Let's see. Someone's off on my end. Bill's soft. Roger's super loud. Okay, I'm not sure if we're still having some problems. Anyhow, that all said, we also have free Facebook group. And so you can continue the conversation at the Estate Professionals Mastermind, and that will post information about the program, as well as if you have referrals, questions, looking for attorneys or realtors in other states. And then I separately host probateweekly.com. You can sign up for reminders there at probateweekly.com, put your email address in. You also can scroll down and get audio or past episodes on YouTube. And then I have a Facebook group as well, Probate Week. We'd love to have you join us there. So again, the purpose of this call is meant to be participative. Is my sound okay? Roger, did you hear me okay? I got one note saying it was so low.
Yeah, it does sound a little bit low, but you're readable.
Okay, well, let me try to get the...
Roger's very loud, but you're very quiet.
Okay, well, not sure what that's all about. I mean, my gain is like maxed out. I don't know if that helps a little bit, maybe. Find on my end. Okay, well, we'll go forward. Hey, this is meant to help you guys who are in the process. So I'm not here selling anything. I'm not selling the coaching. I've taken the Probate Mastery, love it, took it live, took it on demand, recommend it. I think it's the best certification because it's more than just a how to get probate leads, but more of a come from, explains kind of the business, how to create a business in this field, which I think is important. And then so along the way, though, there's a lot of different processes and procedures you have to implement. And the purpose of this call is to help you do that, to put it into practice and to support you as you go along the process of adding in new pieces. It's meant to be participative. We don't charge for this call. So raise your hand, put a note in the chat box. I'll be glad to try to call on you and share your victories, share your losses, what you're working on. Give us updates for those who come on the call and start new projects. Let us know how you've updated on those, and we can hopefully grow together and build our businesses together. Okay, who's got a question, comment? Who's got a victory report, a loss? I got one in escrow, and I got one that fell out almost within the hour. Welcome to real estate, Bill. Got a bunch of good listing leads I'm working on, but very little closings. I think part of this process is I have more of a backlog than I've had almost any time in my career, and yet not a lot of closing in the month of May. So we just gotta keep plugging along and work on the program. But that's where I'm holding at. But a lot of good stuff I think ahead of us. I do think just before until somebody raises their hand, I'll give you kind of my quick soapbox on the market that we're in real estate. You know, my wife made an interesting comment. She was a realtor a long time ago, and obviously is interested in my career. It's how we pay the bills and support the family. And she said, well, I would think probate is immune to the real estate market. I was sharing with her how I think the overall market is off. You know, the number of sales is down 30 or more %. The amount of commission income is under similar pressure. Companies, I think, are under pressure. This lawsuit, I think, is going to drive some of these big companies into real financial pain. And realtors around the country, I think, are struggling. I think for everybody, it's gotten harder. And I think that's the key word I would recommend, that we learn to accept the fact that it's going to get harder. I think there's there's a phrase called embrace the suck. That's something that I think Marines use or SEALs use. Because I think this is the time where if we work hard and push through, we may not get all the financial remuneration we'd like this week or this month, but we'll be building the business for the next 5 years as other people who don't embrace the suck and other people looking for a quick fix get out of the business. And so this is the time to sharpen your axe, sharpen your knife, learn the business, be better, so that when people ask you about your commission, your answer is, hey, I'm worth more than the other agents. And if you can say that with conviction, you're going to get business. And those agents who are just like another agent are going to struggle. So the fact that it's harder, I work hard, every day. And so for me, when somebody says, this is hard, I would say, yeah, great. And so what? And real estate used to be for people who enjoyed working hard. So welcome to the business. And that said, everything of value in life that is of any real value is hard work. In a relationship, I'm married 38 years, raised a kid, 2 grandkids, and business. And all those were hard, but they were all valuable at the end. So, okay, first up, Frankie Thomas, hand up. Let's get you unmuted. And what's going on, Frankie?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm absolutely brand new here. This is my first call.
Okay.
I actually found your information via the web and Facebook, and I was just curious for the certification, because I'm in Ohio. Is the certification good for the state of Ohio as well?
Are you supposed to go like Ohio? Is that kind of the?
Oh, yeah.
I went to USC. We used to play Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, and I saw them dot the I in the band. So I'm a little taken by the whole Ohio thing.
Awesome.
So your question is certification valid in Ohio? Here's the answer. I mean, yes and no. First thing is, as a brand new caller, the tradition is that you shave your hair online. So we all get to see you do that. So I'll go ahead and wait.
Absolutely not.
Just kidding.
I'll do some push-ups.
Okay, yeah, I'll go for some push-ups. No, so the answer is, I think you have to think about what's the value of certification. Now I'm in California, and our attorneys have a certification called Trust and Estates. And it doesn't mean you can't do trust or estate work if you're not certified. It does mean that you're able to put that designation on your website and marketing and all that kind of stuff, which I think is important. And you'll be discovered by some people who otherwise won't see you as an attorney as a result. The attorneys who've gone through that really will value realtors having certification. And so they'll say, are you certified? So I would say for some attorneys, and I can't speak to Ohio, I'm telling you my experience in California. For some attorneys, they'll ask you if you're certified and put stock in that. My experience, even in California, is a very small percentage. That's because most attorneys aren't certified in that area. And also, I think even those that know certifications realize that most of the certifications throughout history have just been a couple-hour class on how to cold call attorneys and cold call families. And they only teach you the probate business. And so here's what I would do to challenge you, Frankie, as a colleague. I don't have any other dog in the hunt than that, but just as a colleague, I would challenge you to, if you're going to do the certification, make sure you reflect the value of the education going forward, not just, hey, I'm certified, give me a deal, but I'm certified, which means I have resources and information. Let me help you with some information, or how can I help you with your case? How can I help you with your clients? And I think that's the distinction I would make, particularly about probate mastery, is I believe it's the only, and I've taken, I think, 5 certifications from different companies because I want to learn. I want to be the best, and to be the best, I have to know the most. I don't know if I am the best. I certainly have anybody who knows more than me in my small area, LA County, court confirmations, real estate. I'm open to people knowing more than me about other niches, I try to be humble. But what I don't do is give up and not take the opportunity to learn and be of value to my customers. So my challenge to you would be to flip it around, whether it's an investment of your time or money or not, that's a personal decision, and I would respect your decision. But I would say to you that don't look at it as checking the box. So now everybody's going to line up to give you business. Look at it as a great resource to dramatically improve the value you can create for your customers. And if you engage in sharing that value, the business will come to you.
I agree. And I thank you for saying that. I actually recently got my certification for senior real estate specialist last year. And I'm continuing in my knowledge and the wealth of knowledge through that, through those different courses, and getting on with experts and learning that area of the senior real estate craft. And I like that you said that it's just not about a certification, but it's continued learning, to have the wealth of knowledge when, we do go out and work with the public and or different attorneys. So I do appreciate you for sharing that.
Let me ask you, when you got, was that the SRES designation?
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
And did you find that valuable?
I do find it valuable, because for one, I've been in real estate for about 10 years, and the knowledge that I'm learning through the SRES and a group that I'm in, I would have never knew just off the top of my head, or just doing, working in the real estate market. So when you go into a different niche, now that I'm interested in probate, to couple with my senior real estate profession, I do want to continue to study, to learn, to help people the best that I can.
And to that point, of all the, somebody asked me what other certifications did I get? I did with all the leads back when the founder of Probate Mastery was with all the leads. I did it with MTI. I did it with Probate Fox. I did it with Paul Horn. So I did about 4 or 5, I think, identified. But Frankie, to your point, I think one of the real values of this certification that you even need the certification for, to be honest, I'd like it to be this call. I'd like it to be the YouTube channel. I'd like it to be the Facebook group, meaning they're not just, sucking you in to sell you something and leave you on your own, like I find many of the other services, or to sell you more stuff. I know in talking to the owner of the company, Probate Mastery, Bruce Hill, as he continues the legacy, it's about helping you build your business by us working together. And so I'm certainly open. If there's somebody who has some ideas on how to make this call more productive, this is part of the value of the certification. So is the Facebook group. And so the goal here is not just the class you take and you're done. Hopefully this is a entree to a world, a community, a process that will help you continue to build your business. I think you're on the right track, and I want to welcome you, Frankie, and look forward to working with you going forward.
I kindly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay, there you go. That's how it's done, folks. Look, you want to grow, you got to give to get. And so Frankie's sharing with us some good information, and I appreciate that. Who else has a challenge? Let's see, find on my end. Okay. So who else has a challenge, problem, victory? I mean, I can go on forever. I don't want this all to be about me. Though I guess I want it to be all about me. I really don't.
Hi, Bill. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
This is Ann
Hey,
Bollinger. Hi.
And from Reno, Nevada, the biggest little city in the U.S. What is it?
Yep. Yeah, the biggest little city.
There you go. What's up in Reno?
So I'll just share a story. I don't have an ending yet. So my own family, actually. I am a power of attorney for my cousin, who unfortunately is in jail. His father passed away last month in March, and a different family member opened or submitted an application, and this is in Colorado now, where they live, submitted an application to the court to open an informal, unsupervised probate case. I was surprised how it was approved just 4 days later. You seem
Oh,
surprised by that.
hold on. So was this a formal process with the court? You submitted like a small probate. What was the form called?
Well, not me, but a different family member. It was
Member.
an application for informal administration or something along those lines.
Yeah. In Nevada, not in California.
Nope, that was in Colorado.
Colorado. Most states have a process where below a certain threshold, there's a less formal process. In California, it used to be like 167,000. I think it's higher. So if all you have is not real estate and the total of the asset value is below a certain amount, it's ideal for like bank accounts and things like that, cars, personal property. You file this basically like an affidavit with the state court or the county court saying, here's the assets, here's the decedent, here's who would be next to kin. I believe it's me. So it's all kind of recorded and so on. And so you did that, and it was approved in 4 days.
A different family member did. Yes, and there is real estate involved.
How much is the real estate worth?
Well, all the assets are estimated around 300,000. I like your expression there.
Well, I don't know. Colorado, just for the record, if you think California is a crazy state, which I do, I live here, I'm a native. Colorado is like chasing California to be as crazy as we are. I saw your guys' recent law on extending tenant rights to basically stay in property forever. Good luck with that. So I don't know. I know we have some people on here from other people from Colorado. And I think that I try to tell people is the rules are different. The laws are different in every state and the rules are different in every county. But 300,000 sounds like a lot for a limited probate.
Yep. So
did you see the form? Did it have on there the amount is being 300,000?
So apparently on the form, that doesn't need to be included on the form. I only know that because this other family member had tried to apply for conservatorship, and my uncle passed away before it was granted. So when you apply for a conservatorship, you do need to be transparent with all the assets and the values. So that's why I know the 300,000 there. So yeah, it's interesting. I did reach out. I do have an attorney for me and my cousin. Yeah, it says POA. And we are just starting that process. He submitted his appearance in the court record. He's meeting with the opposing counsel on Thursday. I'll let you know how it goes, but I thought that was very interesting that it was approved in 4 days without a hearing.
Something doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I'll get back to you as I learn more. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, I guess I would say that if they didn't, that doesn't even sound right that the form wouldn't have the dollar amount on there, because if there's one reason why they would look at the form and deny it is because the dollar amount exceeds the current statutory limit. Those forms are probably available online. You might do a search for state of Colorado probate forms, and if they're not going to give you a copy of what they filed, but it just doesn't sound right to me. So yeah, report back, let us know. One of the things I've learned, so not to your case specifically, but in general, I get, this is what I call a scenario. I get a scenario a day. People, I wish I had more. I do a lot of marketing. People call me, hey, Bill, I have a problem, blah, blah, blah. That's what I want. I want people calling me with their problems. Sometimes I solve them and they go on their merry way without me, which is fine. 9 out of 10. And 1 out of 10, gee, I can help you, but here's what I have to do. I have to list it. I have to help you with this or that. And that's how I get paid. And one of the things I've learned is that when somebody starts with the other party told me, even if it's the attorney, most often that story is not right. The facts aren't correct. And so rather than worry about solving a problem where the facts aren't correct, the first step should always be to verify the facts. And so for me, it's to get a copy of the filing, get a copy of the document, get a copy of the forms, really find out, that doesn't sound right, the form doesn't sound right. I would get a copy of the form and check it because something just doesn't sound right there. But I would just say that 90% of the time when somebody says, well, the attorney told us the law says ABC, 90% of the time, that's wrong. Either the attorney didn't tell them that, or the attorney told them that and it's wrong. 90% of the time. 90% of the time when somebody says, well, my brother says he filed the form and blah, 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 it's either the brother didn't really tell him that, or that's not how the form was. And so from an efficiency point of view, I'd always urge you to get the facts clear before you solve the problem. That way you make sure you're solving the right problem. Okay. And just a
Good point.
generic answer, not reflecting yours, Anne, but just saying in general for everything. So, okay, I see next up, Michelle, you're unmuted. Do you have something you wanted to jump in with?
Oh, no, sorry, that was a mistake.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome
Thank
to.
you.
Sure. Okay, good. Okay, other questions, comments? Who's got a victory? Who's got a loss? Who's got a problem, challenge?
Yeah, hi, Bruce. Excuse me, Bill. I knew it. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
This is Douglas.
Douglas, what's up?
First of all, I just want to thank you for these classes because I'm starting to get some traction.
Great.
And I wanted to ask you, as far as marketing for probate, I've been doing a lot of social media research because I need to get some kind of presence in it. Can you see, and then that presence in social media, blogs related to probate, and hyperlinks on my All the Leads website. That any suggestions of how to build that and what to add to it, and like on social media, should I be attracting? I was thinking it'd be fun to do boomers.
So my answer to that is going to be like my answer to everything, and because I'm not selling this, right? I'm not selling a social media consulting. I'm not selling websites. I want to help you. I'm a practitioner. You're a practitioner. I want to help you be successful at it.
Thank you.
And so there are a lot of people having done a lot of research on the subject. I really, before I was in probate 5 years ago, I ran social media for a large real estate company. I was the executive vice president of a large real estate company.
No
and
kidding.
I oversaw all of our social media and all of our marketing. And so one thing that strikes me is people will sell what's easy to sell, not necessarily what works. And so a lot of the information on YouTube about what to do or social media about what to do to build your business is because it's easy for that person to sell that. It may not get you listings or investment properties if you're an investor. And so I would urge you to be really clear on what are you trying to create and how do you want to deal with it? Meaning, are you looking for listings? Are you looking for investment properties? Are you looking just to build your brand because you have other real estate business you're doing, or you're trying to build a big team?
I'm
Be
just
really clear
getting
what you-
started, but
Just
I just would like to have some fun, be interesting, be compelling,
Well-
but also drop that I'm an expert in probate.
Well, you hit a couple good things, but so let's talk about business. Your business is your listing agent, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So at the end of the day, you want to generate more listings,
correct.
but have fun while you're doing it. So that's my boat. And so you have to find the way that's fun for you. Now, for me, initially it was going to court. Now I enjoy interviewing attorneys on my channel. I have a Probate Weekly podcast.
You
every
get
week.
interviews? Oh, I'd love to see that. How do I find it?
Go to probateweekly.com and you can register to get reminders. And then if you scroll down, there's YouTube past episodes.
Okay.
And I enjoy doing that. Now, I would say, unlike you, the word you use is fun. Yeah, the fun part, I have fun when I play with my grandson. I feel fulfilled. Excuse me. I enjoy interviewing high-power, successful attorneys talking about details of probate and estate planning. And so I made my social media about that. I interview people. I interview all kinds of people, realtors, vendors, and post on my YouTube channel. And then I have a couple of podcasts. One's an interview format, one's my own material. So I think you have to do, and the more you do it, whatever social media you do, the more you'll find your voice and what you enjoy doing. I never would have thought I enjoyed doing as much video as I do. My coach made me do it. He made me do a video a day for 30 days. And once I started, I just fell in love with it. And after a month or two, I kind of found my voice. And it's been easy ever since to find content. It's easy for me to find things to talk about. I know when realtors tell me, I don't know what to post or I don't know what to put on my video, is because they haven't found their voice yet. You know, I'm gonna get too personal, but when you see people, I'm gonna just say it, in politics, when you see people who believe, one of the ways you can tell somebody believes in what they're saying versus just saying it is people believe what they're saying will say it anywhere to anybody, right? Like on a personal level, I'm religious. If you say to me, Bill, you know, why do you believe in God? I will, when appropriate, this is the appropriate venue to talk about it, but when appropriate, I'll talk about with anybody who asks me anytime it's appropriate. Couldn't be happier to talk about it. I'll never say, well, I don't want to talk about that because I believe in it. The same's true with real estate content. If you really find something you're passionate about and believe in it, if you believe you can help people through the probate process, or you believe you can help attorneys be more successful in their business, or you believe you can help seniors make transitions in their housing, like, oh, I forgot her name already. I'm so sorry. The new person on the call. If you believe in that, then it's fun to talk about. It's exciting. And so you have to find your voice, and then the social media, there's different tools that you'll use to amplify your voice. And so there's no right answer for you other than your answer. And I believe you'll find it. I would encourage you to be uncomfortable, take some risks, push yourself a bit, maybe get a coach who pushes you to participate, but don't follow one format because somebody sells that to you. Because in my experience, that's theirs. That's not necessarily going to work for you, if that helps a little bit.
Thank you.
And along the way, feel free to reach out if I can help. And this is the kind of topic I want to talk about on this channel. Like I've launched a YouTube, just to give you guys, I'm not saying this to brag, but I've worked hard at this. The last 5 years, I built my YouTube channel from 0 to, I think I'm the number in the top 30 of real estate agents in the country. Right? I mean, I have a spreadsheet where I track it. I have a virtual assistant and I keep putting people in there. And when I see a blog post of the top 20, I check them and add a couple in. I'm with a 90,000 agent company. And in that company, I'm in the top 10 or 15. And now I'm not counting myself against coaches like Tom Ferry or Ryan Serhan, who's really a big broker and coach kind of thing. But talk about real estate agents like me. And even with some of them in there, I'm still in the top 30, depending on how you count it. But my point is not to brag, it's to say, people tell you what to do. And a lot of what I see them teaching you to do is wrong. Because they're teaching you how to build a YouTube channel. They're not teaching you how to build a YouTube channel that helps you sell houses, or you to educate seniors, or you how to work with attorneys in your market area. And that's your goal. And that was my goal. So I'm more glad to talk about that. If you have questions on what to do, I believe, just one second, Deborah. I believe I'm an expert in that field to talk about it.
That's
and I'm
great.
glad to share. And those of you who know more than me in other social media, that's the purpose of this call, is to share those ideas so we can all get better.
Well, is there a platform on social media that you prefer over others?
Well, I like YouTube, but also as a consumer, I like YouTube. So like, I don't watch television. We don't have any cable TV in my house. I do pay for YouTube Premium so that I don't get the ads. And I love watching podcasts on video. I love watching historical documentaries on YouTube. I learn a lot about almost everything I learned through YouTube. So I then participate on YouTube as a creator as well. And it's been a lot of fun. They pay me money now every month. It's been amazing experience to do that. So that's mine. But, you know, my coach challenged me to put a video. I started on Facebook, and it's a different vibe. It's a different community. It's a different feel than on YouTube. And I want to be more educational. Some people are more community oriented. Some people are more personal oriented. For me, educational. And I think YouTube is more of an educational channel than some of the other channels are. So again, it depends on you and what your goals are. And I tried them all. I post on all of them. I post on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, Rumble, Twitch, pretty much if you name it, I've put videos on there. But the one that I really watch and have built my business on is YouTube.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. That gives me a start.
Good. And come back and let's go together on this, okay?
Okay, you got it. I'll be on next week.
Thanks, Douglas. Deborah, I'm sorry to keep in hold there. What's going on with you?
Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, I was lost in the mute world. Okay, I have seen your shows on YouTube, and I want to ask you two questions. Do you ask the attorneys or vendors or whoever you're interviewing, do you ask them what questions do they want, or
No.
is what you ask them a surprise?
I will say, is there anything that you don't want me to talk about or anything? I know the areas that they're concerned with. Like attorneys,
Mhm.
talking about a particular case can be a problem or can be a home run. And so I always ask them if I know of a particular case that they've done. Sometimes I interview them after the fact when they publicized it. But if it's not yet finalized, they generally don't want to talk about it. Yeah, and I'll just say, hey, Deborah, real quick, is there anything you don't want me to talk about, or is there anything particularly you want me to promote? But I don't spend much more time than that. I really want it to be real, and I don't send out a list of questions ahead of time. I really try to keep it more authentic and real.
Okay, but so then you have an ability, you know what questions to ask them that would interest them. I don't even know what to ask. So I would ask them,
I
what do
think
they
you
want me
do.
to talk?
I don't want to make you wrong about this, but I would say, I think you do know what to ask. Here's what I would say. You ask what you're interested in. See, we have this idea that there's the right questions or answers. There's not. The right questions are the ones that you know the answer to. If you think, I've really studied podcasters a lot, and there are a couple in particular I watch regularly to learn from. Joe Rogan's one, Rich Eisen, who's a sports guy, is another one. More for their technique. What I've learned is they're good because they're genuinely interested in the subject and their guest. And so try to let down the layer of it's a podcast or an interview and try to make it more about just two people talking. And the more authentic you are, the more interesting it is to people who watch. The way I think of this, even right now, Deborah, I don't think of this as me in some sort of high-tech Zoom call, YouTube, coaching call. I really try to imagine it's you and me talking, maybe like at a convention. We bump into each other and we're chatting, and all the people on the call are kind of listening in because they're interested in what we're talking about. If they're not interested, they'll go somewhere else. And if they're interested, they'll stick around. The main thing they're interested in is if you or I are interested. If we're just going through the motions, nobody wants to pay attention to that. And so I would say, just it's a skill you'll develop the more you do it. I mean, I've literally now in 5 years done hundreds of interviews. I've interviewed hundreds of attorneys. So you could wake me up at 3 a.m. and I could do it. It's not hard anymore. But my coach did make me do a video every day for 30 days. And that removed some of the fear and some of the discomfort right away and allowed me to start to connect to a human being.
Okay. Yeah, I have done video, but I need to get back on the horse and get back in it. How do you invite the attorneys or vendors or whoever you're interviewing? How do you go about that process?
Great question. It's a nonstop process. One is I constantly ask people I talk to, hey, I'd love to interview on my YouTube channel. I make it easy to say yes by either booking it right then or I have Calendly links to different types of interviews. And so let me send you a link and just pick a time that works for you and they'll fill it in. And so that's part of one of the tools I do use is Calendly. And I have different types of interviews, whether we want to use Zoom or use Google Meet a lot. If it's, an attorney interview or if it's a realtor interview or just to get to know you YouTube interview or whatever, different Calendly links with set up for each of those types of interviews. I randomly will reach out, like the LA Business Journal had a list of the top 100 attorneys. Of the 3 in Trust and Estates section, I've already interviewed 2 of them. The third one I didn't know about. I saw the third one, and so I called her office. I left her a voicemail. I sent her an email. Congratulations. I'd love to interview my podcast. Here's the link. And, some say yes, some say no. I say about half of the attorneys will at least reply back. Some are kind of jerks about it initially, more now. Nowadays, if they check my channel, one of the advantages of doing a lot of content is they go on the channel and see a lot and go, wow, okay, well, this guy's like legit. But before it was legit, about half would not be interested. And, so if you ask 50, that means you get 25. And so I just ask people all the time. I go on to YouTube And now I have my virtual assistant do it. But I'll go on a YouTube channel and that has probate interviews and have her make a list of all those people. And then I'll maybe craft an email. Hey, I saw you on this YouTube podcast. I'd love to have you on mine. Will you be interested? If you are, click here. So, some calling, some talking to people, some cold emails. It's just a nonstop process. I've posted in groups. That's not been productive at all for me. So it really is a one-on-one, one at a time kind of battle for the most part.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah. And then anytime I talk to an attorney now on a real estate deal of any sort, I'll say, hey, I have a YouTube channel. I'd love to interview you on my YouTube channel. And, like live, most people say yes. Some aren't comfortable with it, and that's just okay.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
I could have done that yesterday. I went to meet an attorney. They had a seminar. That's how I first got involved. They had a seminar, and it's going to be at a restaurant in their, party room. And they really have good steaks at this place. I'm like, oh, I want to go.
Nice.
I want to hear about trust and wills and estates and all that. So the lady was an elder law attorney, young woman, and they were so good that I'd heard this from another woman who's in probate. She's in San Diego, and she does all her video on probate and trust and wills and that kind of stuff. So I took her a gift, took her a basket with 2 teacups, some tea in a can, and spoons that had honey on them to stir the tea. Oh my God, she just loved it. The whole office came over and they were looking at it. And I said, I just want to offer you this because I was so impressed with your seminar and I would like to come and talk to you about some things. And she's like, well, sure. So when I went to see her yesterday, we had tea out of those teacups. So that was really fun.
Nice.
So that was something that I learned, that when you go, you want to bring the attorney something just for their time that you're. So
100%.
I decided I would book with her. I said, well, let me know what should I do about, my estate, because I haven't done anything about it. And you made me aware that it's time. So she told me, how attorneys, how they book their hours, like a sixth of an hour or a minute, $6. I don't know. But anyway, she said if I wanted to come and talk to her at any time, it would always be free for her clients. There's never a charge.
Oh, nice. Now remind me, are you in Ohio as well?
Yes. Who else
Yeah.
is in Ohio?
The first lady on the call was from Ohio.
Oh,
Okay.
Frankie. Oh, okay.
There you go, Frankie. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm from
Ohio.
Canton.
Yes. So a couple things there. You covered a lot, and I think sometimes So my job is just to kind of break this down. Going to the attorney invited you. Every this call, if you own a house or have kids, you should have an estate plan of some sort or will, or find out if you don't in your state. And what Deborah did was she found an attorney who was hosting, and this is a common business practice. Attorneys will host meetings. Now, imagine, Deborah, I imagine that attorney does that regularly, monthly, quarterly, like that's a business development program. And as a real estate agent, I imagine you have other clients and prospects and people who, like you, should at least hear the material and make a decision. And probably
Right.
some of them should have an estate plan. You might invite them to the next session this guy has. And you might talk to him about, well, I'd love to do is coordinate with your staff on promoting your event to my clients, because my clients need this. And I'd love to have them work. I appreciate your time with me, and I'd love to have them work with you as well. And so that's how I started in this. I went to a hotel and signed an attorney and said, hey, I'd love to promote it to my clients because they need this as well. And I had another attorney call me and say, hey, Bill, how come you don't promote my event? I said, oh, I didn't know you have an event. Let's do it. So that's, to me, is a great strategy. And you can end up being the marketing. And here's the other part. The people who show up for that event, if they own real estate, they might need a copy of the deed to give the attorney to create the deed into the trust. They create a trust. You as a realtor probably have access to public records and deeds. And you might offer the attorney, hey, for free, anybody shows up who registers, I'll be glad to call them, confirm the registration, thank them for registering, confirm they're going to show up. And by the way, if you're coming, you might want a copy of your deed as a free service. We offer a copy of the public records if you'd like me to look it up for you. Or you might even say, hey, when I search public records under Deborah Wilson, I see a property on 123 Main Street. Is that you? Well, if you'd like, I could bring a copy of the grant deed to the meeting so you have it in case you want to move forward with the attorney or afterwards. There's a million ways you can work that game. Another
Yeah.
one is the attorney, once they do the estate plan, often will create deeds for the customer, and you might schedule a 30-day follow-up phone call to say, oh, I just want to let you know I verified with the county your deed was recorded, and here's a copy of the recorded deed, as a way to add value to the attorney as well. So those are different, some areas kind of in a big scheme that
Okay.
be great, that where you can kind of be the marketing arm for the attorney and help them. I would imagine as a realtor, you would love to talk to every one of those people
Mhm.
registered to his event. Why not? And I think he would love it. If he's not doing it, or she, they should. We should always confirm people sign up to online events,
Mhm.
but it's also a way to increase the attendance.
Okay. Very good. It's good
Okay.
ideas. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Deborah. Thanks so much. Okay. Anybody else not from the state of Ohio that has a question? Just kidding. Nothing against the state of Ohio, but I've been there. I've been to Ohio, been to Toledo, been to Cleveland, and then we beat them in the Rose Bowl a couple of times. So, but I'm old. See, nowadays Ohio State's much better than USC.
Who's your team that beat them?
I went to USC.
Now,
But I went-
that's always a rival.
Yeah, it was. I don't.
Well, remember back in the 70s when USC and Ohio State were just Anthony Davis those days?
I went to those games. I mean, I'm old enough to say I went to. I went to '67 Purdue and Bob Greasy. I mean, I'm an old guy, but definitely in the '70s saw USC play Ohio State. '70s, '80s, and '90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could talk about USC football all day long, but I don't think that's really what we're going to do here. So, who else has a question, comment, challenge? But just notice now, for those of you watching this, we have identified really two completely different marketing strategies that can be in addition to or instead of the ones that most companies are selling. The reason I do this with Probate Masters, we're not selling one hammer telling you, go look for nails. Other companies who sell the coaching or certification really make their money selling you data and tell you you need a cold call. And I don't think you need to. Here, Deborah found one attorney who hosts a estate planning seminar, but my guess is there are several, if not many, attorneys in Ohio, in her area of Ohio in particular, that would either are hosting such events or should host such events, or do them live, and other ones do them online, and would appreciate somebody who makes their marketing niche getting consumers to estate planning events, and then lining up our clients with them. And Doug is different. He's looking to, like more like me, use social media. So those are two different ways that you can use rather than just cold call. And I think are great ways to build business. I actually, on my YouTube channel, have 11 different ways to get listings. And both of these are two of them. So, okay, other questions, comments, victories, defeats?
Bill?
Catherine, Jessie, let me get you in here. Just 1 second, and then I have next. Catherine, Jessie, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, great.
I really appreciate everybody's questions so far. So I wanted to kind of share today a little bit of like a challenge that I'm facing. So I'm in Virginia, Northern Virginia, which is, I know there's a West Virginia and there's Northern Virginia, even though we're not our own state, and then there's Southern Virginia. But my thing is I've been reaching out to a lot of personal representatives, and they have been receiving me really well when it comes to like to overall help them with the probate situation, like just documents and the process, kind of get them through like a checklist. And I have a checklist that I offer to them. So I'm really showing up with value. But then they always, every time I do bring up, like I warm up and we have a good conversation, and eventually I ask for the real estate and ask if there's, if they're planning to keep it or sell it. And I'm in the route of getting my real estate license just because of other reasons. And I used to have a license in the past, but I'm primarily asking as an investor, obviously, or even as a wholesale opportunity with the property. And I just constantly get hit with an objection of, oh, well, there's my brother has a realtor he uses, or I couldn't go around the person who help me with my house or something like that. And I'm not saying to, I just don't know how to handle that objection without being like, I want to shake them and just say, well, who's showing up at your doorstep right now helping you through this process? And kind of, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if there's something I could do differently or ask for it sooner. I mean, I think the objection's all the same. And currently the situation that it happened to me with was this lady called me and wanted me to come evaluate her property and give her a cash offer. And when I went to go meet her, so she called me, but I went to go meet her and see the house. And she, I just, out of talking to her, because I wanted to know, well, what's the best case scenario for you? Do you have a price in mind? Is there a timeline that's going to help or work better for you? And she said, well, my brother wants me to list it with his agent. And again, I keep getting, it's like this is like the same challenge I'm running into over and over again is, hey, I'm working with an agent or I'm going to, or my family member wants me to work with their agent. And I try not to let it just stop me in my tracks right there, but I kind of want to just be like, well, why did you call me? And why do you want my cash offer if you're going to go with an agent? And what ended up happening is she didn't let me take pictures, and I took like I kind of gave her a ballpark on what we could offer for cash on the property, but that I would like to get my contractor in to make sure some of the things that we would need to renovate are doable in the price range that I had estimated them under, because I didn't get to take pictures. And she said, oh, well, how about we hold off because now the agent wants to do an appraisal. And then when she came back to me, she said that the appraisal was way over what I had originally ballparked for her. And I understand everybody has to make the best decision for them. And maybe that one wasn't a good fit for me. But I am running into I'm the first person to come knock on their door. I'm the first person to give them a hand and offer them as much value as I can in the process. But then when it comes time to actually get some sort of compensation for it, it's like it's already promised to somebody else. And I don't know if I should just open up with, are you working with an agent already? Because I feel like I'm open to working with their agent. And a couple people have said, oh, well, here, I'll give you my agent's number. But the same thing is happening where agents aren't willing to work with me, or the person chooses the agent over me in that case scenario. So I don't know if my approach could be a little different, if my objection handling could be different. I'm just sort of facing the same challenge in different areas with different people. And I'm like, okay, well, this is something common that I'm sure other people are experiencing and I could get better at handling. So I just wanted to pose that challenge. And
thank you.
Hear your feedback.
So let me ask you this, Catherine. Are you open to me doing a little coaching here? I mean,
I'm open to it. Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would love some coaching here.
Great. Do you have any formal real estate sales training?
Yes, I do have formal real estate sales training.
What company or what format or?
I with Keller Williams.
When you were with Keller Williams, did you do the for sale by owner training?
When I did the for sale by owner training with Keller Williams, but it was a very long time ago right now. But I do remember like FSBO training and being trained to help people who were in the FSBO space essentially choose to go with me instead of being a FSBO.
So as an investor, it's kind of the same thing as that, right? The for sale by owner and a lot of that mentality. So here, a couple of things I would say is a mindset for starters. One is it's always you, it's never them.
Okay.
It's always you're not being as effective as you need to be to get them to sign the contract with you. It's never the prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're more effective, they'd say yes.
Right.
So you have to start with that and own that. And I think that's a tough pill for most people to follow. I say most people don't get into sales initially. Those of us in sales who accept that and work at it have the opportunity to be successful. So that's the first step.
Mm-hmm.
I would say to you, second, I've been in this business since 1986, before you were born, I'm sure. And as long as I've been in the business, there are certain what we would call objections that have been around. One is your price is too high, or in your case, your offer is too low. Same objection,
right?
Right. Your price is your commission is too high, your offer price is too low. That's always an objection. Second is always, as long as I've been in business, there's been a objection called, I have a competitor. another realtor, another this, another that. I'll sell it on my own. I'm going to use Redfin, Zillow, Open Door. It's the same objection. And so I think you have to first realize that's what it is. You've got to track your numbers. How many people are you talking to? So then you can start working towards certain ratios that will help guide you as to improving your effectiveness. No different than, say, a baseball hitter might count what their batting percentage is, what percentage of time they hit the ball and get on base versus strike out. You need to track how many actual, contacts you talk to or how many offers you make and what percentage are accepted. Once you start tracking those numbers, you can improve your numbers on a regular basis. And so it's a never-ending challenge of getting better and those are the two that you need to work on. And so what I also will say is, and Bruce does a great job of training on scripts and these procedures. On this call, I'll give you kind of a quick overview of my perspective, which is with every objection, there's a standard 3-step process that's universal. This is whether or not you're an investor, you're a realtor, you're a husband, you're a parent. It's the same exact 3-step process. Step 1, repeat what they say. The biggest complaint people have with salespeople, the biggest complaint people have with husbands is they don't hear them. And so when you repeat what they say in a non-judgmental tone, then they can't say that about you. They know you're hearing you. So if you said to me, I'm going to list with my brother, I'd say, okay, you're going to list with your brother. Second step, affirm their right to make that mistake. Now, you and I would say that you're offering a cash offer, and generally, I can say most realtors are incompetent. Therefore, in my mind, generally, I'm going to list with my brother is an inferior outcome to you giving him a cash offer. But I'm not here to judge them. That's a reasonable position for them to have. So step 2, I would say, oh, you list with your brother. Okay, I can understand why you might do that. And then step 3 is pivot with an objection handler that continues the conversation. And so what you'll find is that in formal sales training, and you've had some, that we need to handle objections, not just because they come up, but because that's how the customer or prospect evaluates our ability. Meaning, where you're sitting right now, you're like, oh my God, I don't want the objection of the price or the competitor. You need to get so good at it that I'm a sales ninja. I want you to complain, to give me an objection, because I'm going to handle it so skillfully. You're going to go, oh my gosh, this guy's a pro. So I would love to have you say to me, I'm going to listen to my brother. And I would say to you, oh, I'm going to listen to your brother. That makes sense. Many people do. Can I explain to you how I can help you get a better outcome than listening with your brother? What are you going to say? Yeah. Okay, great. So what I find is most of the time when people list with their family members, they have the family issues to deal with on top of everything else. On top of the fact that listing, as you know, with real estate agents, they have paperwork, procedures, things take longer. I'm offering you a cash offer today at $400,000. Would it be helpful you to have the money in the next 7 or 10 days and know this thing is done? Now, they might say, really, I don't care. It's all found money to me. Now you know you can't press the time issue. But if you don't know, if they want the money quickly, their brother is going to have to come out, take pictures. Most realtors stage this, that. They waste a week or two before they even get started. So again, the 3-step process is 1, repeat
what they said.
In a non-judgmental way. 2, affirm
their right.
Not like you're going to listen with your brother. No,
right.
I understand. Many people do. And 3, then ask another question, because the person who's asking the question is controlling the conversation, not the person with the answers. You think they control it because they're answering you, no, I want to listen to my brother. You have the ability to take control again by asking another question.
Right. Yeah, no, I like I'm gonna practice the mess out of being a sales ninja on that 3-step, because I've been facing it over and over again. So I know it's me. I know it's it's like my test. It's like I get the same test with different people with the opportunity to handle it, like you just said, like to handle it a little bit better. And if it's, I do believe still at the end of the day, and encourage, being professional and positive with them, whatever decision they end up going with. Because if it's, and they're gonna, you know, whether they'll get the outcome that they imagine they're gonna get working with the agent is worth it to them over the simplicity of working with me, then that's, you know, it's totally up to them anyway. But I definitely appreciate the coaching there, because it's just been coming from everybody's so ready to work with me when it comes to helping them. And then when I ask for that real estate, it's always I was viewing it as if they had loyalty to someone else rather than
No.
really tracking it and seeing that, you know, I'm not being as effective. So
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Nobody's just going to agree right out of the gate. And so many times they don't know how to ask you a question or how to test your ability. And like many times people will, you know, ask if you can lower the price. Like, and I'm an agent, so I'm not used to getting investor like you are, but as an agent, every customer says, well, can you lower your commission? Every single one. As long as I'm in the business, that's been a question, and it will be as long as I'm in the business. Now, I can answer that by being nervous or getting, how dare you ask me to lower my commission?
right.
Or, okay, so you're asking if I can lower my commission. I can appreciate that. Many customers ask me that. Can I tell you why that doesn't work for you? And they'll say yes. And I now have permission to explain why I'm going to, and if I do a good job, they're going to go, wow, that makes sense. Okay. They just asked and I answered the questions, no more than that. There are people who are set on doing it themselves. They're set on whatever they want. But the vast majority of people, when they ask that question, they just don't know what else to ask. That's the best question they came up with. And you need to be able to answer 3-4 questions per customer. And just like a football player has to run fast his whole career and lift weights his whole career, you're going to have to answer the pricing objection and the I have a competitor objection as long as you're in real estate sales of some form.
Can I say something,
And
Bill?
Sorry.
Bill, I've started an accountability and role play group with members of Probate Mastery. And we just got started. And so we're meeting on Mondays and Fridays at 12 noon. And I'm also teaching NLP.
There you go.
So if you want to join, there's no charge. Just a lot of support from people that you're using the scripts that Bruce taught us.
So just to add some color to that, Catherine, not only do you have to have the scripts, I gave you some scripts just now, and Bruce is a master of this topic, but Doug has given you an opportunity to practice it. I've practiced many hours on these scripts. I used to handwrite them out every day for 15 minutes. I used to role play every day for half an hour before I started my day. That's how I learned how to deal with these things. He mentioned the word NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, is learning the language of thought so that you can communicate more effectively with the words you're using. So to everybody on the call, Doug, you might want to post in the Facebook group the details if you don't already. And if it's there, great. Go look at the Facebook group for joining in on the role play that Doug's offering. And,
yeah. The results are phenomenal of what we're getting. I mean, it's great.
But and again, I just want to say, I think it's in all human relations, you have to learn how to communicate with people when they don't want to do what you asked them to do initially. You know, I'm married. 99% of the time I ask my wife to do something, she doesn't want to do it. My job is to figure a way to get her to do what I think is best for both of us. Same with kids. You know, I went to the park last week with my grandson. He's 3 years old. I estimated the time to get to the park. I estimated how much time we should spend there. I estimated the time back. I didn't account for the 20 minutes of negotiation to get him to leave the park. I have to learn how to communicate effectively with a 3-year-old, different scripts that I'm used to. So again, thank you, Doug, for offering that service and jumping in. And Catherine, hopefully that can give you some additional resources to leverage your time with us, okay? And Doug put his contact info in the chat box as well. You guys might want to catch that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Doug, for jumping in.
Oh, I'm having so much fun. It's great working with people using, it's phenomenal the results we're getting. Everybody's growing in confidence so fast.
Yeah, this is work the only reason I don't coach in this, I did it a long time. I don't enjoy personally coaching this material anymore. I did it for years. I did this for about 8 years, and I would hold daily role play sessions live in our office. And we had 5 different offices. So one day a week in a different office, I would get 40, 50 people and lead them in scripts. And then we'd lead them in role play. And then I would listen to them cold call and listen in on those calls. And so I've done that. I would say this is an important skill to develop. No different than a football player lifting weights and running. is a salesperson learning their scripts, practicing them, practicing with other salespeople before you practice them on prospects. So Catherine, welcome to the party. And Doug, thanks for hosting the parties you're hosting on Mondays and Fridays. Okay, hey, it is the witching hour. I'm going to jump off here. If I can help with something, hit me up in the Facebook group or reach out to me personally. I'm glad to help if I can. I'm at Bill Gross Probate on social media. Love to have you join in on my podcast, Probate Weekly, which I do every Thursday at 4 p.m. live. This is the Probate Mastery Real Estate Coaching Call. We do this every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You can go to probatemastery.com to get the details, as well as mini courses on probate opportunity, marketing, prospecting, as well as certification courses. Join the Facebook group, Estate Professionals Mastermind, and you'll find information there on various events, including Doug Converse's role play programs on Monday and Friday at noon, whatever noon means to Doug. I'm not sure if that means, I'm guessing noon Mountain Time. Is that?
Yeah, I put no Pacific Standard. I put that in the chat.
Beautiful. Okay, noon Pacific Standard Time. And then feel free to join me on Probate Weekly. Go to probateweekly.com, put your email address, you'll get reminders, invitations there, and I host. I do a podcast every week, mostly with interview, though this week I'm going to more talk about the probate business, but normally it's an interview call. So thank you everybody for being on the call, and we'll see you guys next week. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for your generosity.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.